Hey, your boy Jay here, and we today are going to go over the 50 greatest tag teams of all time as compiled by the WWE. I've given you guys about a week to chew on this, analyze it for yourself, because yeah, I needed a couple days to get over that top 10. But yes, we're going to go through all 50. We're going to do this probably in a couple different parts just to give everybody the time they need on everything. And hopefully you guys can respond a little bit in the comments and we can compile our own top 50 tag teams of all time once we get done with this. So let's get going. Number 50, we have the Bushwhackers. My opinion is, if you are counting their Sheep Herders run, I can see it. Definitely top 50 tag team. Now of all time, I don't know. They are saying of the WWE, but as we get in, we're going to see some tag teams that did nothing in the WWE and made this list. So, the Bushwhackers. Don't think they have any quality wins. If they do, it is very few. And, yeah, I mean, they were over. Don't get me wrong. Luke licked my head as a child at Rosemont Horizon, so, you know, pretty excited about that. Loved watching them come down to the ring. I loved watching the old under the arm head charge they did to people that somehow knocked them out. But 50 greatest of all time, I mean, we're already padding out the list, but I guess, you know, you have to towards the end of how it is, so that's what it is. So next up, at number 49, we have Too Cool, which is Scotty 2 Hotty and Brian Christopher. Or, what was it? Too Sexy. Grandmaster Sexy. Scotty 2 Hotty and Grandmaster Sexy. Now, I don't know if this includes Rikishi with it, or if it's just them two by themselves. Because when I think of Too Cool, I think of Rikishi with him. Even though I know he kind of joined in towards the tail end there. But another tag team, I believe they had the belts. They may have won the belts once, possibly. I don't think they did, but they might have. But they were over. They were over like Rover, as they say, back in the Attitude Era. Scotty made a comeback not too long ago and people cheered him. I think Brian came down with them too, but, you know, they couldn't give him the mic for obvious reasons. But yeah, another tag team, I don't believe they would have been in my list, but when we get there, we will find out. So let's get on to the next one. Number 48, we have the Quebecers. And yeah, WWE all-time, now not all-time tag team, no, but WWE all-time tag team, yes, the Quebecers. They were definitely a tag team in the 80s, but they had heated rivalries with the Bulldogs. I believe they had a heel versus heel rivalry with the Hart Foundation as well. They had a pretty good one with the Can-Am Express and the Killer Bees. But yeah, I could see them, especially what the guys have done on their own separately afterwards, and then another tag teams being made here and there. But yeah, the Quebecers, I could buy the Quebecers. 48 may be kind of low, kind of looking at this list, seeing these other teams. But yeah, I don't remember too much. They're a little bit before my time, but from watching the product at my age now in the 2020 lens, seeing them in the 80s, pretty good workers, pretty good team. They were actually a team, and had some pretty good matches, had some quality wins. So, yeah, I could definitely see them being on the list. Will it be in ours? I'm not sure, but let's move to the next one. At 47, we have the Smoking Guns. Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn. Tag team champions, so I mean they checked that box. I don't think they were that over. There was just no teams at the time. I mean, the Godwins was a main focal point of the tag team division at the time. What was Chris Candido and that one dude, Skip, Zip and Skip? Is that the names? Anyways, they rivaled with him. Got Sonny, needed Sonny on their side to win the titles the first time actually. You know, both guys did pretty good on their own. Billy Gunn, you know, But I'm sure we're going to mention Billy Gunn in the future on this list for sure. Bart Gunn, you know, best known for winning the Brawl for All and doing some good work in Japan. So, yeah, the solid team. I could see them, but in their era, kind of just needed to give the titles to create some excitement in the division. We all know Vince doesn't care about tag team wrestling. I'm probably going to say that a billion times during this. So we know he doesn't care about tag team wrestling. But, yeah, I could see them being on the list, but I could think of some teams that should have been on this list that wasn't, and I think the Smoking Guns possibly would have been a team I took off, but I don't know. That, like I said, it just happened, you know, if you're in that 93, late 93, early 94 to early 96 era, it's kind of hard to buy you as legitimate as being over. Nobody was really over at the time. I think you had Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon to a little bit extent, and that was about it. That was over at the time. So the Smoking Guns kind of did it on that one. But yeah, Smoking Guns. All right, so at number 46 we have Strikeforce, which was Tito Santana and Rick the model, or he wasn't the model yet, but Rick Martel. And I love the model. Rick Martel was amazing. He was one of my favorite wrestlers when I was a kid, even though he was a heel, he was a heel. But yeah, Strikeforce. Don't know. I've went back and watched. I remember them vaguely as a kid. I really remember WrestleMania 5, I believe it was, when they broke up. That is like the thing that sticks out in my head the most. I think, was it at WrestleMania 4, maybe? When they lost the titles to Demolition, possibly? I remember somebody got hit with a cane. But WrestleMania 5, I remember their match against the Brainbusters. I think Santana accidentally hit Martel. Brainbusters getting work on him, and bam, Santana tries to go over Martel. Martel drops the apron and leaves. But yeah, Strikeforce, number 46, and I can kind of see that, especially old school WWE. Tag team was together for a little bit, so yeah, I could see it. We'll see if it makes our list, though. And at 45, we have the Head Shrinkers. Actually, was on TV, what, 2 pay-per-views ago to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the head of the table. But yeah, I mean, basically the first ones to start the Fatu dynasty in the WWE. So they definitely got that going for them. Other than that, I don't believe they did really a whole lot. I mean, as far as legacy and what they brought to the business outside of the ring, yes, a very important tag team. But would the division have made it without them? Probably been just fine. I don't know. From what I've seen, they were a very good heel tag team. It really seemed like they took on stars more than anything. Like if Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan got together, they took on the Head Shrinkers. They were a big, nasty tag team. But and then also, I believe they went to the WCW for a little bit as what the Samoan SWAT team? Something like that, I believe. So if we're going to count that into their run, maybe a little bit. I probably would have booked them lower. They probably would have been 49 or 50 if we're absolutely going to need to put them in this list. But yeah, legacy outside the ring, I can see them being on the list. But if not, super low, if even on the list. I'm going to let you know right now, there's probably a great chance that they're not going to be on my personal list. So let's see what you guys think about them. But number 44, Kane and X-Pac. And here's another team that was not together that long. Had a good storyline. Good storyline to become a team. A good breakup angle as a team. Was pretty dominant as a team. But the time just isn't there. I mean, they won gold. They did, they do check that box. They do have a great coming together angle, a great breakup angle. They check that box. But it's just not a tag team. I don't think they would be in my personal top 50. I'm sure a lot of Attitude Era fans would see that because they're towards Would you consider that Attitude Era? Yeah, because that definitely wasn't Ruthless Aggression yet, I believe. But I don't know, the Tory thing, all that. It was great story, but I just don't see them in top 50 tag teams all time, especially if we're talking all time. Now, if we're just saying WWE, which it is a WWE list, so they're probably meaning WWE tag teams of all time. But man, X-Pac and Kane. I mean, yeah, I could. All the teams that are below them, yes, probably better. But they're not a tag team. I mean, it was a great story, great break. It was like a team put together for a story purpose. They did great, and they came together later and did great. But, my opinion, not worth being number 44 on the all-time great tag teams all time. So, but yeah, 44, Kane and X-Pac. 43, Evolution. So I'm assuming we are talking Ric Flair and Randy Orton, right? That was the tag team, I believe. No, because Randy Orton was Intercontinental Champion. So Ric Flair and Batista, then, right? Yeah, it'd have to be Ric Flair and Batista, and then, yeah, Ric Flair and Batista, and then Triple H had the world title, and Orton had an Intercontinental title. Unless they're just talking about the entire group as a whole, the whole four, I could definitely see them being on the list, especially if your WWE list gotta be on the list. If we're going to talk about all four, yeah, for sure. If we're talking about their title run and dominance, for sure. Their title win it wasn't like the greatest match ever, but it made that pay-per-view, it was a Judgment Day pay-per-view, I believe, and it made that pay-per-view amazing, that end scene, all of them holding up gold. It was a good storyline that went through. All guys, any iteration of it deserved, titles. Could have made a tag team with any of those guys. You would have had a pretty good tag team. But yeah, Evolution, I could see that, especially this list. But I don't know if they'll make mine, to be honest with you. I didn't even consider Evolution a tag team, but it is what it is. But yeah, number 43, Evolution. Number 42, Eminem. Yeah, Eminem. Sorry I'm laughing, but the first thing I think of is dude getting his face busted by that ladder. And if you have not seen that, you need to see it unless you have a weak stomach, because that is not for the faint of heart. But yeah, pretty good tag team. I was not so much into the product as the time when they were making their run. They were SmackDown Tag Champions for a while, or they were on and off champions quite a bit. I know a lot of the times when I watched the show, they were champions. They had Marlena doing her entrance, so they had that going for them. But yeah, Eminem, number 43, I could see that. Or was that? I lied to you. It was number 42. See? I keep on backing these guys down. I do apologize. I'm sure by the time we get close to the end of the list, I will have gotten all this figured out. So, but yeah, number 42, Eminem. And to finish off our first part of this video, number 41, The Nasty Boys. Yeah, definitely see it, especially if we're going to count their runs in WCW as well. I know it wasn't a beautiful, great run or anything, but they did cause chaos. They did do what the Nasty Boys do. One of them did get knocked out with a rubber shark. A little bit regrettable, I guess, for that to happen. But yeah, 41, the Nasty Boys. I could buy that because they were a tag team together for a while. I know they got booked kind of stronger than most teams because of their friends with Hogan. But yeah, the Nasty Boys, 41, I could take that, I could buy that. I believe they held WWE tag titles. I know they held the WCW tag titles as well. But yeah, Nasty Boys, now that, when I think of tag team, legitimate tag team together forever. Never had a breakup angle, never had a coming together angle because they were the Nasty Boys. But yeah, held gold, check that box. Stayed a tag team, check that box. Stayed together forever, check that box. So yeah, Nasty Boys, number 41, I can buy that. And yeah, and there we go. Number 50 through 41 on the top 50 teams in WWE history. Or maybe just tag teams ever. I forget how they worded it. Hopefully it's WWE history. Because if it's history in general, we are already in trouble. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and maybe we can compile our own list, and you will be seeing part 2 pretty soon, number 40 through 31.